Hello my dear students, how are you all? Just let me check once if my stream is working or not. Then I will start. Yes, it's working. So how are you all? So how was your summer vacation going on? Let me know in the comment below. So today is the first class of your 2027 batch, right? And in the first class, what we will start? We will start with the bridge course. What is the meaning of bridge course? Basically, it will be like a refreshing your memories, some concepts from your PU 1, some concepts are from your previous classes, 8, 9, 10th classes. So basically what we will be doing, we will be revising some of the concepts so that when we are discussing the same concepts during our theory lectures and during solving the questions, you do not have any doubts, okay? Because what happens is that most of the time our time is wasted on understanding a question, understanding how to solve it, etc. But if your basic is clear, then you will be able to understand that concept clearly. So what we are going to discuss in this session, so basically bridge course is now divided into two parts. First part is trigonometry, Pythagoras theorem, ratio of angles, degree to radians, and some formula list. Also we have algebra, quadratic equation, binomial expansion, and common formulas. We, in the part 2, so this is the part 1, so this is our part 1 of the bridge course. This entire concepts we will be discussing in our today's lecture, okay? Next class we will be discussing calculus, function, differentiation, integration, graphs and geometry, straight line, circle, ellipse, parabola, hyperbola, graph, and geometrical formulas, okay? So basically except I think integration, you have idea about everything else, right? Except integration. Differentiation you have started in your PU1 or class 11th syllabus briefly. Yes, you will be doing it in deeper mode in class 12th as well. Other than that, integration you have not yet started in syllabus wise. Some of you may have already started it, because most of the classes, most of the time we struggle understanding basic integration and differentiation, which actually is very easy. You will realize that when you have completed that in mathematics, you will see that whatever the sir was saying in the physics class was easy, right? Because in class 11th first few classes where teacher discussed the integration and differentiation, everything, your brain actually completely loses focus, because you have not studied that in your class 10th up to class 10th, right? So that is something new for you at that point of time, and slowly you generate a kind of fear about the physics subject. So I will just try to avoid that, so that you are fully prepared for your physics lectures, right? And if you are watching it, please let me know in the comment that yes, we are here. Now let us start with the first concept, which is trigonometry, okay? Nothing new, we have all learned about trigonometry, Pythagoras theorem. So basic Pythagoras theorem is basically about a right angled triangle. So right angled triangle have three sides, right? Say this side is A, let me change the color, okay? So say this side is P, this is B, and this is H. Okay, Pythagoras theorem says that H square equals to P square plus B square. Okay, what is the meaning of P and B? We will come to that in a while, but basically three sides of a right angle triangle, very easy, simple concept, that hypotenuse square equals to, hypotenuse means the side which is opposite to the right angle, which is called hypotenuse. Okay, now hypotenuse square equals to base square plus perpendicular square, okay? The base and perpendicular can interchange between themselves, but hypotenuse will always remain same, okay? So this is the basic Pythagoras theorem. Sometimes we write H is equal to square root of P square plus B square, based on situation to situation, but this is the basic Pythagoras theorem. Very handy, very easy, but very important to remember. Now ratio of angles. Ratio of angle means sine, cos and tan, mainly these three. Okay, cosec, sec and cot will come from time to time, but very rare in physics. Main three angles that you have to remember are sine, cos and tan. Now all the values basically depend on main one thing, which angle you are considering. Suppose you are considering this angle, so this angle is your theta angle, suppose. Right, we always say the angle of a triangle, one angle is theta. Now this angle is theta and suppose this angle is phi. Obviously this is a right angle triangle. If you add all three angles of a triangle, what is the total angle? So total angle is obviously 180 degrees. So we can say that, okay, theta plus phi must be 90 degrees, right? So this is a property of a right angle triangle, that if you add the other two angles than 90 degrees, if you add those two angles, that is actually 90 degrees, and this is called complementary angles. Okay, if theta 1 plus theta 2 is equals to 90 degrees, then those two angles are called complementary angles. Here theta and phi are complementary angles because if you add them you will get 90 degrees, right? Now many students initially struggle to remember what is sine, cos, tan in terms of the sides. Okay, suppose this is the angle theta, you are trying to find sine theta, cos theta and tan theta. So whatever side which is adjacent to the angle is called base. Okay, with respect to theta, this is base. We are not discussing phi right now, we are only discussing theta. So with respect to theta, this side is base. Okay, this is the base of the triangle, right? And this side, which is not the base, is called perpendicular. Okay, so basically now we clear why, which side is called base, which side is perpendicular. It is not based on drawing, it based on the angle that you are considering. It is not based on, if you rotate the triangle as well, it does not matter the side which is adjacent to the angle theta. Obviously hypotenuse will be common, and 90 degree obviously we will not consider. So hypotenuse will be always common with the angle, other angle is 90 degree obviously. So if you are considering phi, with respect to phi, this should be your base, this should be your perpendicular. So remember always that the base and perpendicular are actually based on the angle that you are considering. Now let us go to a mnemonic. That mnemonic helps you to remember sine, cos, tan. There are different mnemonics. I heard about a completely different mnemonic in one of my classes. In one of my students gave me a completely different mnemonic. But the easiest one that I find is easy to remember. Some people have curly brown hair turned permanently black. Okay, some people have curly brown hair turned permanently black. So what is the meaning of that? Some refers to obviously sine theta, some for sine theta. So this is sine theta. Okay, some people have, so sine theta is equals to perpendicular by hypotenuse. Some people have, okay, some people have curly brown hair. Curly means obviously cos theta. So curly, C stands for cos theta. Brown hair, brown means base by hypotenuse. Okay, turned permanently black. Turned means obviously tan theta. Okay, and permanently black means perpendicular by base. Okay, sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. Now with time you will be able to recall that without any difficulty, but initially it is sometimes difficult. Hi Raghavendra, how are you? So sometimes initial days it is difficult for you to memorize it. You have studied it in class 10th, but still sometimes we still confuse about sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. So that's why remember this. Some people have curly brown hair turned permanently black. If you know any other mnemonic, you can mention that in the comment section. Okay, so that is one thing. Next, is ratio of angle tables, and remember that if this angle is cos theta, the other angle will be sin phi. Okay, so they are related to each other. If you can change the sides as well, and also we know that sin square theta plus cos square theta obviously equals to 1. That is also it is actually consequence of Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so from you can prove this using Pythagoras theorem. Okay, now next is ratio of angles. So this few angles you have to remember: 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree and 90 degree. Out of that 0 and 90 will come in theories. Most theories 0 and 90 will come, but in exam, during some while you solve some questions, even 30, 45, 60 degrees are also important. You cannot ignore any of the angles. All values you have to remember. Now initially, again I mentioned that it is very difficult to memorize the things. So there is a trick to memorize the table itself. What is the trick? You start with 0. You start with 0. You start with sign. You start with 0. After 0, write 1. After 1, you write 2. After 2, you write 3, and after 3 you write 4. So 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Whole numbers. Now you take the 4. What is the maximum number? Maximum number is 4. Now you divide each and every number by this 4. Okay, you divide each and every number by this 4. Okay, and one more last step is there, which is taking square root of each of them. Taking square root of each of them, and you will find the sign table. Okay, so sign table 0 by anything is 0. Okay, and obviously non-zero number. So 0 divided by a non-zero number is 0. Square root of 0 is obviously 0. 1 by 4 square root will be 1 by 2. Right? 1 by 4 square root will be 1 by 2. 2 by 4 you can cancel it. It will be square root of 1 by 2. So it will be 1 by root 2. Right? So this is 45. Now 60 degrees. 60 degrees is 3 cannot be helped. It will be root 3, and square root of 4 is 2. So it will be root 3 by 2. Now 90 degrees, 4 by 4 is 1. So square root of 1 is 1. Simple. So the value of sine 0 is 0, sine 30 is half, sine 45 is 1 by root 2, sine 60 is root 3 by 2, and 90 is 1. So if you figure out one of the angles, you can figure out the remaining ones as well. So for cos, you start with this value, write it here. So for cos, you start with the end value and write it here. Next value is root 3 by 2. So basically the order reverses. So for sine it's like this, for cos it will be reversed order. Everything is same. Now 1 by root 2 will be 1 by root 2 obviously, because this is third order from this side, this is third order from this side. Next is cos 60 is half, and cos 90 is 0. Okay, so this is the cos table. What about tan? Tan is again sine divided by cos. Obviously we know that tan theta is equals to sine theta by cos theta. Those who have forgotten it. Okay, not only it is perpendicular by base, it is also sine theta by cos theta. So now you divide 0 by 1 is 0. Half by root 3 is 1 by root 3. 1 by root 2 divided by 1 by root 2 is 1. I hope everyone remembers tan 45, right? Tan 45 is the most easy to remember. Now root 3 by 2 divided by half is root 3, and here it is 1 by 0, which is theoretically infinity, but we write here it is as indeterminate. Means we cannot determine it. Okay, and all theoretical purpose indeterminate, for practical purpose it's basically infinity. Infinity means which has no fixed value, it is the highest of the highest value, right? So this is the sine cos table. You don't need to remember any graphs of sine and cos, just basically you have to remember the values. Okay, values are very, very important. And one more important part is that when you suppose you are writing sine theta, okay, when you are writing sine theta, suppose sine theta equals to x, there is one more function that you may not be super familiar with, which is basically theta equals to sine inverse x. So this is another important thing. Suppose it is given that x equals to say 1 by root 2. Okay, then what is the value of theta? So basically you have to take sine inverse of root 2, which is basically theta will be 45 degrees. Sometimes we write it in radians it will be pi by 4. So how to convert degree to radian if you have forgotten? So degree to radian, it is basically if some theta degree is given, you can convert it into radian by multiplying pi by 180. Okay, pi by 180, if you multiply, you will get the value in radian. Radian is also super important. Radian also super important. Now there are two special angles, 37 degrees and 53 degrees. Okay, 37 degrees and 53 degrees, it comes from a fact of in case of a right angle triangle having sides say 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, square root of that you will get 5 centimeter. This is a very special angle. Okay, 37 and 53 degree. So the side which is opposite to 4, it is 53, and side the angle which is opposite to 3 is 37. Okay, this is a very special case, very special angle. It does not fall in the common 0 to 90 degree angle category. It is a somewhat uncommon that you have not studied so far, but in KCET exam, in JEE exam, and in many competitive exam, these two angles are super important. You cannot ignore this. Okay, so if you consider sine 35 for example, now how to remember which angle is 35, which angle is 53? So there are the ways to remember that. Bigger the side, opposite angle will be bigger. Okay, so this is 4, so opposite to 4 will be 53. This is smaller side, the angle opposite to smaller side will be smaller angle, which will be 37 degree. Now how to remember sine and cos? Obviously I told you sine say 37 degrees, which is basically this side. Sine 37 means, sine means perpendicular by hypotenuse, perpendicular by hypotenuse. Similarly cos 37 will be base divided by hypotenuse, right? Base divided by hypotenuse. What about sine 53? Sine 53, for sine 53 perpendicular and hypotenuse changes. Okay, so perpendicular is 4, hypotenuse is 5 as usual, and cos 53 is 3 by 5. Now if you want to find the corresponding tans, tan is easy, either you use triangle or you can divide them. So you will get 3 by 4 for tan 37, and tan 53 will be 4 by 3. Okay, so this is very important to remember these angles. Very important to remember this special angles as well. Okay, so now so we have basically we have taught only one new thing so far, which is this. Okay, 37 and 53 degrees. Some of you have studied in your PUC 1, but those who have not studied, you should understand these values as well. This is a very special case. Okay, and it comes from the fact that in a right angle triangle, 5 is basically square root of 3 square plus 4 square. So this is a right angle triangle. This can be formed a right angle triangle, and this is a very, very special case. Now degree to radian, as I mentioned already, I gave you a hint, I think. Okay, so degree to radian means degree is measured in terms of angles. Radian is it is measured in terms of circle. Okay, so if you are suppose this is a circle, this angle is called a pi by 2 radian. This angle is called another pi by 2 radian. Okay, this is another pi by 2, this is another pi by 2. So total angle made by a circle is actually pi radians. Okay, so total angle made by a circle at its center is pi radian. Okay, that's how even the pi quantity is defined. Okay, the total angle made by the circle at its 2 pi radian. Total angle made by the circle at its center is 2 pi radians. Okay, and if you have an angle in degrees, suppose theta degree, the radian will be theta into pi by 180. Any angle if you take, suppose 60 degrees, 60 degree means 60 into pi by 180, 0 0 cancels, 3 6 are 18, so it will be pi by 3. Sometimes these angles can confuse, create confusion amongst you. Okay, so don't be confused. Always remember that degree and radians can be converted amongst themselves. They have different uses. We will come to that. But before coming into that, one very important part is arc length, radian and angle. Okay, so arc length, what is arc length? Arc length means a part of a circle. So we have discussed circle, radians, etc. Now if you have a part of a circle which is not the complete circle, circle is not complete, only part of the circle you have. Okay, you know the radius, radius is constant, right? This is r, this will also be r, right? Radius for a circle is constant. This is the center of the circle, this is the center of the circle. Okay, suppose the arc length, this is called arc length. Okay, this arc length is s, this arc length is s. The angle it makes at the center is given by, say, theta. The angle it makes at the center is given by theta. Then the relationship between r, s and theta is s equals to r into theta. This relation is valid every time. This relation is valid every time. S equals to r theta. Okay, now there is a very special case which arises from this. Okay, which is if the theta value is very, very small. If the theta value is very, very small, that is small angle approximation. If you are doing small angle approximation, you can write these three things. Sin theta is very, very close to theta. Cos theta is very, very close to 1. And tan theta is also very close to theta. Now these approximations are valid when theta is in radians. Okay, this is not valid if the angle is in degrees. Okay, this you cannot write sine 1 degree equals to 1. Okay, so for that you have to convert it into radians. So for example, what is the value of sine 1 degree? Suppose they have given you what is the value of sine 1 degree. Okay, sine 1 degree, how to solve it? First thing you have to convert 1 degree into radians. How to do that? 1 into pi by 180. Now remember, pi value is same, pi value is 3.14. Okay, or some cases we can write pi value equals to 22 by 7. You can use that also, but it is not accurate value. Obviously pi is an irrational number, so pi value, approximated value, we take for most of our journey towards KCET. We will use 3.14 unless we realize if we use 22 by 7. Okay, I see some of the comments are deleted. Okay, I can see that 22 by 7 is actually approximate value which we will take based on time to time. Okay, otherwise we will, for all practical purposes, we will take pi value as 3.14. Okay, now suppose we are calculating sine 1 degree. How to calculate sine 1 degree? It will be 1 degree equals to, first of all we have to convert it into radians. So 1 degree equals to pi by 180 radians. So sine 1 degree is actually equals to pi by 180. Remember, you have to convert it into radians, then only you can write corresponding value. So sine 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 radians, which approximately is 1 by 60. Okay, if you take pi approximately 3, it turns out to be 1 by 60. Okay, so this is a neat trick, not NEET, NEET NEET. It's a very clever trick to find small values of sine, cos and tan. Okay, now there are few important formulas. Some of you have already remembered it. Sine A plus B equals to sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. Sine A minus B is equal to sine A cos B minus cos A sine B. Here it is written in terms of alpha beta. Okay, or if you want to remember in terms of AB, everything is okay, no problem. Cos alpha plus beta equals to cos alpha cos beta minus sin alpha sin beta, so slightly different. If you see, when sine is positive, in between sine is also positive. What else? If sine is there, sine cos, cos sine. Okay, alpha beta. So this is very easy to remember. For sine is, everything is easy. Sin alpha cos beta plus cos alpha sin beta. And similarly for negative also, sin alpha cos beta, cos alpha sin beta, but in between there is a negative sign. But for cos it is slightly tricky. Cos A plus B, it is very tricky to remember, because if cos A plus B is there, in between sign will be negative. Cos always does opposite things. Okay, so cos alpha cos beta minus sin alpha sin beta. So entirety of the cos first, entirety of the sin is next, right? So cos alpha cos beta minus sin alpha sin beta. Okay, now tan alpha plus beta. Tan alpha plus beta equals to tan alpha plus tan beta divided by 1 minus tan alpha tan beta. So this is also in very critical questions, this formula is also super important. Tan alpha minus tan beta equals to tan alpha minus tan beta divided by 1 plus tan alpha tan beta. One more formula I think was there, yes, sine 2 theta. This formula we have used in our projectile motion calculation. Sine 2 theta equals to 2 sine theta into cos theta. Cos 2 theta, on other hand, it is cos square theta minus sine square theta. 2 cos alpha cos beta equals to cos alpha minus beta plus cos alpha plus beta, and 2 sin alpha sin beta equal to again cos only, but there will be negative. And if the opposite is there, sin alpha cos beta, it will be sin alpha plus beta plus sin alpha minus beta. Okay, easy to remember. So nothing new we have learned so far. Now quadrants. So if you are familiar with the graphs, we have two axes. Okay, one is x-axis, this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis. Now not only that, we have positive x-axis here, and positive y-axis along this direction. So positive x-axis, this is called positive x-axis, and if you are coming from this side, this is called negative x-axis. Okay, x-axis is same, but it is negative, and if you come down, this is called negative y-axis. Now all the distances, everything is measured from this central point. Everything is measured from this central point. This point is called, obviously, origin. This point is called origin, right? Clear? This point is called origin. Now based on the location of a point, there are few things you have to remember, that this is called first quadrant, This is called first quadrant. Okay, all the angles here are positive. All angles, sine, cos, tan, theta, cos theta, cosec theta, tec theta, everything is positive. So this is all. Okay. Now if you come back to the anti-clockwise, if you come to the next one, not clockwise direction, remember this will be anti-clockwise. This is called second quadrant. This is called second quadrant. Okay, how to remember it? If you imagine imaginary line, the line is actually rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. The line is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, and as it is rotating, the angle is increasing. So this is called second quadrant. In second quadrant, only the value of sine, okay, and correspondingly cosec, okay, cosec. Okay, sine and cosec value will be positive. In second quadrant, sine and cosec value will be positive, and after the second, again anti-clockwise, this will be third quadrant. Here tan will be positive, only tan and cot will be positive, and after the last will be fourth. Fourth one is called the fourth quadrant, and here cos theta will be positive. Now remember how to remember this quadrant situation. You have to remember all sine, tan, cos, all sine, tan, cos. So first quadrant all is positive, in second quadrant sine is positive, third quadrant tan is positive, and fourth quadrant cos is positive. What is the meaning of that, by the way? So if you are having an angle, if the angle is between 0 to 90, all values of angles are positive. Okay, all values of angles are positive. We have seen that 0 to 90 degree. If the angle is more than 90 and up to 180 degree, if the angle is more than 90 and up to 180 degree, only the value of sine theta will be positive. So sine 120 degree will be positive, but cos 120, tan 120, they will be negative value. Now if you increase the angle more than 180 degree up to 270 degree, okay, so if you are considering an angle which is say 220 degrees, so 220 sine 220 will be negative, cos 220 will be negative, tan 220 will be positive, and if you go from 270 till 360 or 0 degree, basically in that region only cos theta will be positive, remaining sine and tan will be negative. Okay, so this is how you should remember all sine, tan, cos, all sine, tan, cos. Okay, now few identities, complementary and supplementary angle. So if you add two angles and if you get the angle theta, if the sum of those two angles are called complementary, if theta plus phi is equals to 90 degrees, this is called complementary. So complementary means sum of the angles are equals to 90 degrees. So if you add two angles and if you get the sum of the two angles equals to 90 degrees, that angle is called, those two angles are called complementary angles. Okay, so if you have suppose one angle here, okay, this angle say theta, this angle will be phi. So theta plus phi are actually complementary angles. Okay, now if you consider another angle, suppose there is another angle say theta dash and this angle say phi dash, okay, then theta dash plus phi dash is equals to 180 degrees. This is called supplementary angle. This is called supplementary angle. Now, so this theta plus phi is 90 degrees and theta dash plus phi dash are 180 degrees, but why do we need to know? Because sometimes sine and cos can be interchangeable based on these angles. Okay, so sine pi by 2 minus theta is cos theta, cos pi by 2 minus theta equals to sine theta, tan pi by 2 minus theta equals to cot theta. Okay, so sine can be changed into cos, cos can be changed into sine, and tan can be changed into cot based on the condition. Similarly, sin pi minus theta equals to plus sin theta. Cos pi minus theta on the other hand is minus cos theta, and tan pi minus theta is minus cot theta. Okay, so this is very important concept to remember. I think this will be minus tan theta. Okay, this will be minus tan theta. Tan pi minus theta is minus tan theta. Again, few more identities. Sin 2 pi plus theta. 2 pi means this is pi, this is 2 pi, so this total angle is 2 pi. So 2 pi plus theta means basically this. Okay, so if you have an angle which is say 30 degrees, if you add 360-degree angles to that angle, it does not change anything. So sin 2 pi plus theta is actually sin theta. Similarly, cos 2 pi plus theta is cos theta, and tan 2 pi plus theta is tan theta. Okay. Now, let's move on with the basics of algebra. So algebra, again we will be discussing some quadratic equations, some theorems, some formulas. So basically there are very few formulas that you have to remember. Everything already you know. A very basic formula: a plus b whole square equals to a square plus 2ab plus b square. Obviously nothing to explain there. Next is a minus b whole square equals to a square minus 2ab plus b square. So and a square minus b square is equal to a plus b into a minus b. A plus b whole square plus a minus b whole square is equals to 2a square plus b square, and a plus b whole square minus a minus b whole square is equal to 4ab. So when I was in class 7th or 8th, I learned those formulas, but with time you tend to forget easy formulas. For example, many students do not remember this formula or this formula. Many students, these are easy formulas. These formulas most of you remember, but application of these formulas sometimes we forget. So that's why this is also very important to remember. Now, quadratic equation, also called Sridharacharya equation. So this is something which we should be proud of. It was done by Sridharacharya, who was a ancient Vedic times mathematician. So in his book Lilavati, he wrote this theorem, obviously not like this, in using his language in that time. Okay, so basically ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0 is called a quadratic equation. Quadratic equation means the order of the equation is 2. So if the order of the equation is 2, that is called a quadratic equation. So when you are writing a quadratic equation, normal simple equation, say for example 5x plus 7 equals to 0. This is a single order equation. Okay, so this equation is easy to solve, right? So 5x equals to minus 7 or x equals to minus 7 by 5. We can solve any one order equation. One order equations, we do not need to worry too much about it. It is easily solvable. But what about second order equation or quadratic equation? So quadratic equation is not directly solvable unless it is factorable. Okay, so for example, there is a question I have given you that can be factorized. Okay, but here if you are not able to factorize that, how can you solve it? So the easiest way to solve that equation is by using Sridharacharya equation, which says that x equals to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so this is the roots. Obviously second order equation means it will have two solutions. Those two solutions are called roots or solution of the equation. Okay, so this is also called roots of the equation. Roots means basically solution. So if you put this value in the equation will satisfy. So left hand side, right hand side, both side will be 0. So these are called roots of the equation. So x equals to minus b plus or minus b square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Very important formula, do not forget it. It is not only important in physics, it is also very important in mathematics as well. Okay, now sometimes we will use this sum of the roots. Sum of the roots is equals to minus b by a. Multiplication of the roots is c by a. Okay, now let's solve this equation. This equation can be solved using, I know you can solve it using standard factorization method, but without using factorization method, how to solve it? So if you compare this equation with the given equation, you can say a equals to 5, b equals to minus 7 and c equals to 2. Okay, because normal standard equation is ax square plus bx plus c. Here instead of a we are given with 5, instead of b we are given with minus 7, and instead of c we are given with 2. So this is the standard values of a, b and c for this given question. Now let's put that value and calculate the roots. So it will be minus b. So minus b means it will be minus of minus 7 plus or minus square root of b square. B square means square of the negative number, but obviously negative number square is positive, so we do not need to worry too much about. Minus 4ac. Minus 4, a is here 5 and c is 2. Now remember, if there was a negative sign, that also has to be included over here. Divided by 2a, so 2 into 5. Now let's simplify. So minus minus plus 7 plus or minus square root of 49 minus 5 to the 10, 10 into 4, 40. So it will be divided by 10. So 7 plus or minus, it will be square root of 9 divided by 10, or it will be 7 plus or minus 3 divided by 10. Now what is the meaning of plus or minus? The thing is very simple. First you put the positive sign and write this as x1. You write x1 equals to 7 plus 3 by 10, which is equals to 10 by 10, which is equals to 1. And x2 equals to 7 minus 3 by 10. Okay, so it will be division, which will be nothing but 4 by 10 or 2 by 5. So one solution, one value of x is 1, one value of x is 2 by 5. Now based on situation to situation, sometimes we will find one x is positive, one x is negative. We will only consider the positive value, we will not consider the negative value. For example, resistance, it cannot be negative. Okay, capacitance, it cannot be negative. So there are many quantities which cannot be negative. So if you are solving one question and you are finding one root is negative, you have to ignore the negative root. That is not the solution of the given problem. Now binomial approximation can be handy in some cases. Now basically when it comes when you are having a quantity like this, 1 plus x whole to the power n. So basically you are taking multiplying a quantity like this, 1 plus x whole to the power of n. Then the expansion is as follows: 1 plus nx plus n minus n1 x square divided by 2 factorial plus dot dot dot. Now you will learn about this in your mathematics class. We are not there about it. Our main objective is this: if this quantity x is very smaller than 1, if this quantity is less than 1, this can be approximated to be 1 plus nx. This approximation only we need in our physics class in some cases. Otherwise the entire series is not there. Binomial series, it is there in your mathematics, not in physics. Okay, don't get too much worried about it. Now there are few methods in mathematics that might be handy in your physics as well, which is componendo, dividendo. What is componendo? Componendo means you are basically adding, you have a quantity like this, right? A by b equals to x by y. Componendo means a plus b divided by a minus b. So this is componendo, this is dividendo. So a plus b divided by a minus b equals to x plus y divided by x minus y. So this, if you do the same operation on the left hand side and right hand side, the equation remains unchanged. And many cases it can be very handy in solving questions. Arithmetic progression and geometric progression, now this you have used in your mathematics, which can be handy in your physics class as well. Suppose we have a quantity a plus d, a plus 2d, and so far so on up to nth term a minus n minus 1 into d. So total number of terms are n, then the sum of all the quantities is n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, so this is basically a formula sheet. This you can remember as formula sheet. Sn equals to n by 2, first term into nth term. This is also another way. But more important in physics is GP. Okay, and in GP if you add the quantities a, ar square, so basically you are one quantity is there and you are multiplying with the common ratio. If you are multiplying with the common ratio's power is increasing, then the sum of all the terms is given by a into 1 minus r to the power of n divided by 1 minus r. Now if the value of r is less than 1, it is not very less than 1, that means it is a fractional number. For example, r equals to say 0.9 and the series is infinite, so the series goes to infinity, it is not ending at n, it goes till infinity, then the sum of the series can be written as a by 1 minus r. Okay, so for example, if you have a series say 1, okay, then 0.9, then 0.81, okay, and so far so on. So basically the common ratio here is 0.9, and if it goes till infinity, okay, then the sum of this series will be, the sum will be 1 divided by 1 minus 0.9, that is 1 by 0.1, that is 10. So if this series goes till infinity, the number is not always infinity. Okay, the sum is limited. Okay, so this is a converging series. Okay, some of you have heard about it, converging diverging series. Okay, so this is the end of the lecture. Sam, it is not recorded. See, you came once and you started asking. So many questions you started posting, okay? If you are not interested, please go somewhere else. I will not tolerate your these kind of comments, okay? See, the thing is, the class is happening for you and you are coming in the lecture. I know you are a fake student, you have nothing to do with the learning or gaining some knowledge. At least gain some knowledge. I know you are from some different background, perhaps you are paid to do this kind of stuffs in our channels. There are these kind of things are there, okay? I know some of you are some other people do it purposefully in our channel to demoralize the students, which you get enjoyable. You enjoy those kind of things, right? But I have disturbed today Soumik Sir's class. I am winner today. So if you think that winner chicken dinner, very good, do it. I don't mind, but I will not allow you to hamper in my class. Okay, you can go to somewhere else, do whatever you want, but not in my class. I will not allow it. Okay. And if you think that you have done a very good job by doing such kind of things in my class, then very good. If you have a legitimate doubt, you can ask, I will answer. But if you just here to disturb in the class, I will block you. Okay, that is rule number 1 in my class. If you are just doing something without asking questions, when I teach, I do not answer question once my teaching is finished. If you have any doubts, I always keep on checking time to time if you are asking a question. You are not asking a question, you are here only to disturb in the class and thinking the class is a recorded one. Class is not recorded one, bro. So just have your knowledge updated. Okay, so have your knowledge updated. Class is not recorded, first of all, and if you have any genuine doubt, you can ask me in the chat, I will answer. But if you disturb in my class, I will block you. And if you are a paid person who is just here to disturb, again I will block you. Okay, so this is very clear. See, if you are coming from someone else's influence here and trying to disturb in the class, definitely I will, that can be understandable from your language. You come, you post 5-10 comments immediately thinking that sir will not see. Okay, and by the time sir will see, I will leave the chat, right? So, okay. So I think someone else also tried to do that. Jasmine ma'am blocked him during the previous section, right? So if you do not have any other questions, I can end the live here. If you have any doubts, any questions regarding to the session, please feel free to ask. And if you are watching it at some later time, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. There will be one more live day after tomorrow where we will be covering the remaining portions. What are the remaining portions? The remaining portions will be calculus, function, differentiation, integration, and graphs and geometry. So calculus and graphs and geometry will be my next class topics. So if you have any doubts, any questions, obviously you can leave that in the comment section below and I will try to answer as much as possible. Okay, right? So, and the lectures, generally I will try to keep the lectures short. I will not take a very long live that some people tend to take. It will be 1 hour, and some critical theory lectures it might go up to 1.5 hours. So 1 hour to 1.5 hours, that will be the average duration of the lecture. Okay, okay, thank you guys. See you in another class very soon. Till then, bye.